Thank you so very much for taking the time and listening to my testimony about my brothers. I'm the only surviving sons of my mother and father, Aqdas and Ali Torchizi. Three of my brothers, Behruz, Bahman, and Reza Torchizi, have been killed by the regime. Behruz Torchizi, my younger brother, was born in Tehran on March 20, 1962, on the eve of Persian New Year, and that was the reason we called him Behruz. A good day. He was such a smart kid, and at the age of 5, he went to elementary school. And by the time that he was 15, he got his diploma from high school. And he was accepted to one of the hardest university in Tehran, Science and Technology University, in the field of mechanical engineering. After the revolution, Behruz joined Muslim Student Association, which is connected to Mujahideen Khalq or MEK organization. On Tuesday, 24th of September, 1981, Behruz leaves home, and that was the last time we saw him. We did not know what happened to Behruz. We were looking everywhere. We contacted the authorities and asked them for Behruz's whereabouts, and they said that we have no idea. And those days, everybody was telling us something. Somebody told me maybe he was in an accident. Go and look all the hospitals. We went to hospitals after hospital and asked if they have somebody by the name of Behruz Torchizi. Nothing. And somebody told us that there are several committees, jails here or there, and go and ask those places. So we went to all police stations, committee, Pastaran, whatever that we could think of. We asked for Behruz, and they said that no, we do not have anybody by the name of Behruz Torchizi. And it took us about 17 days, every day, from early in the morning until late at night, we were looking. Until one day in daily newspaper, Kayhan, we saw that there was article that 73 people, they have been executed. And we took the paper and looking for the names to see. And to our surprise, we saw Behruz's name in the newspaper on row 48. Behruz Torchizi, son of Ali. He was executed. I'm sorry. My father goes crazy. The following day, he goes to, there is a place in Farsi, we call it Sazeman Bazrasi Kol. They look after all organizations, It's like inspection general. And there was an Ayatollah there called Mustafa Muhaqqaq Damad. And my father asked the following question: who arrested my son? We searched everywhere. We could not find a trace of him. Where was the trial taking place? Was there an attorney present? Why there was no appeal? Why you did not inform us to be present? Why you did not give us the body for burial? All sorts of questions. And finally, what was the crime of Behruz? And Ayatollah Muhaqqaq Damas says to my dad, carrying a camera and taking pictures of demonstration. And it was like pouring an ice bucket on my dad. And he said, you killed my son for carrying a camera and taking pictures. He was the most talented person. He was mechanical engineer. And you just killed him for taking pictures. As of today, we have no knowledge of what was the court proceeding, who was the judge, who was the prosecutor, and for sure there was no attorney. And what was the crime? Taking pictures. After that, my other brother, Gholam Torchizi, disappeared on January 1982. He was my older brother, born on February 16, 1954. He went to Science and Technology University, and his field of study was industrial engineering. After the revolution, he also joined Muslim Student Association, connected to MEK. So my other brother, Reza Torchizi, he came to my mother and says, let's go and look for a place to hide because I don't know what's going on. Bahman has disappeared and I fear for my life. So my mom and Reza, they went out to find an apartment for temporary location. And it was in January 1982. And Reza and my mother disappeared. Reza was born on Thursday, October 13, 1955. And when he went out with my mother, they disappeared. Now we don't know what happened to Bahman, what happened to Reza, and what happened to my mom. And after 1 month, my mom came home and she said that Reza and I, we were arrested for people who are familiar with the Tehran, in Gisha district. And they took us to Evin prison. And in Evin prison, they told me that my other son, Bahman, has been killed resisting arrest. So from that day, we know that Reza is in Evin prison, and my mom was told that Bahman is killed, and they have buried him without our knowledge in Behesht Zahra Cemetery, section 92, row 123, number 15, on his exact birthday, February 16, 1982, at the age of 28. So my father and my mom go to Evin prison and ask to see Reza. And the guard look at the list and they say, sorry, we do not have Reza Torchizi. Come next day, maybe his name pops up. So my mom and dad go next day, nothing. Next day, nothing. Next day, nothing. It took them 4.5 months to finally get to see Reza. They were being tortured outside prison for 4.5 months because they knew Reza is in prison, and the guard refused to let them visit him. After finally visiting Reza, Reza told them that they have sentenced him 7 years in prison. Reza's sentence was basically done. So my dad, he goes to Mr. Muhakkik Damad and asks him, and Mr. Muhakkik Damad says Reza's release is at his own hand. He needs to repent to get out. My father told him that his sentence is over. He said, it doesn't matter, he needs to repent. So he goes to Reza and asks him, why don't you repent and come out? And Reza says that it's not that easy. They have divided the prisoner in 2 camps. One group, they repent, one group, they don't repent. And they expect people who repent to kill, execute the other one that do not repent. And I cannot do that. My dad goes back to Ayatollah again and says, please release him. His sentence has been over. And Mr. Ayatollah tells my dad, let me see what I can do. I will call you. And a few days later, somebody calls my dad and says, come to Evin prison. My poor dad thinks that Reza has been released. But to his surprise, they gave him a bag and they told him that these are Reza's belongings. And my dad could not believe it and says, you killed my son after finishing his sentence. I don't know. Reza was buried again in Behesht Zahra. They gave us he was executed August 24, 1988, on the 11th day of Muslim holy month of Muharram, which according to the Ayatollahs, they should not kill anybody in this month. And they buried him at the age of 33 in Behesht Zahra, section 98, row 149, number 17. This is the story of my life. Sorry. Other than Behruz's name, Reza and Bahman have never been acknowledged publicly by the regime. Thank you very much for the time. And let me show you the pictures. This is the picture of Behruz. This is the picture of Bahman. And finally,
و این هم عکس رضاست که در جریان قتل عام 67 کشته شد.